Good morning, everyone. We're going to do this amazing sunrise. This is in Ipswich over by heading towards Pavilion Beach. Really beautiful. So we'll start in the sky, beautiful yellow rose sky. So mix up that Windsor yellow, and I'm going to put a wash over the whole piece of paper except for that piece of white light that's coming through the sky there. Because we're gonna cover most of this, but you want that same light shining through your whole piece there. All right, we'll pick up some rose here, just enough to cover that sky. You can see it's a peachy color. It's very beautiful. We're gonna put it on much stronger than it looks. Remember, in watercolor, if it looks right, it's wrong. So we want to go much darker because we know it's going to dry so much lighter. And we're going to go right down onto, there's a reflection in the water there, so you want to get that. I got some yellow on my brush here, and I'm breaking up those washes because I want to see some turbulence in the sky. I want to see some movement up there, and that's why I'm doing that. All right. Okay, so we'll put the sky on, we'll let that dry. Meantime, we're going to mix up a nice dark for the marsh itself. So I'm going into the ultramarine blue and quinacridone sienna, and I'm going to make up a black first. I'm leaning it towards the ultramarine blue, but it's very black. And then I'm going to add some quinacridone gold, which is a beautiful yellowish, bright, yellow, and that will give us just enough of a green tint in there to get that marsh color. All right, so there's the picture of the marsh above, and you want to try to get this all in one shot. You do not want to go back into this. Put it on, and make sure you mix up enough color to cover that marsh. You don't want to stop and have to mix up more color. All right, so you put it on, let it come down as a wash. Don't go back into it because you'll have all kinds of streaks and so forth. All right, so very carefully here, getting that the shape of the marsh in with that dark color. And it's beautiful, it's nice and dark because the sunrise is so bright. It's really not casting a lot of light. It's not up yet, so it's not really casting a lot of light on that marsh, keeping it nice and dark. All right, take your time. I can see already as much color as I put into that area of the water, it's still way too bright, so I'm going to have to go back on that at some point and put more rose in it. You want some nice reflection of that sky, so all right, keep going. Keep it mixing that beautiful dark color. Keep adding the gold. Plenty of gold paint there, keeping that nice green. Okay, that pretty much does it as far as the marsh is concerned. Okay, don't have to do every single, crack and crevice there on the marsh. Don't worry about that. Just worry more about the value of the marsh and getting a nice smooth wash there. That would be great. Try not to go back into it. All right, so we're just working the edge of the marsh there, just getting a little bit of grass growing up, and so we'll just keep working that edge little, I save those rough brushes, you know, those are old brushes. Right now I mixed up some really black color here with a little rose in it, and I'm just adding the edge of the marsh just to give it a little bit of a downturn. So keep moving along the edge of the marsh on this side, you know, it's just a little bit of feathering on the edge there, get that effect of the grass, and get that nice dark edge on the far corner, on the far edges of the marsh. All right, I'm putting in a stroke of, you know, I use a little bit of rose in there, but a little rose and a little bit of that greenish color. And that's a distant hillside, if you believe it, but we don't see much of it, but it's behind everything. So we want to get it in there, and we're going to build up in front of that. All right, these are the grasses and marshes that are in front of, well, they're in front of the hillside there, but on the edge, they're on top of the marsh. And I'm crowning that. I put in a very dark stroke there of ultramarine and quinceanna with some rose in it. Now I'm putting a crown of rose on top of it because it's the light. The light from the sky is very warm, and it's really touching everything. Okay, I'm putting in the trees here that go along the edge. You can see there's a bunch of trees, you know, there's a green spruce, but then there's a bunch of other trees. Okay, so I'm adding, you would see I'm adding a lot of rose because there's a lot of rose in those trees. And then push the green, you can see there's some green there. So once you establish the rose color, which is the lighter branches and the, you know, lighter shrubbery and so forth, where the light's going through, then you can add some of that greenish tone, darker in the center. But try to maintain some sky holes always, you know. And straighten out this spruce tree, adding a little more rose to that, making them a little darker. Okay, all right, now we're crowning that bush again, getting some nice rose right on the tip of it, just to show this, you know, the light is hitting that. All right, on this side we have a big tree, and I'm going to mix up some green. I just put some yellow in that dark color that we had. So, and I'm doing some spattering here. You all know how to do that. Put that towel down so you don't get the whole, your whole painting spattered, but need to protect it. But it's a wonderful thing. Once you get that paint on, you see I'm using my paper as a palette here. I get all that, and I got all those beautiful sky holes all set wherever I want them. So this is your base color. Once you get this established and you get that tree shaped the way you want, you know, you get that all, you go back in, you can get the darks and, you know, really get some nice darks in there. Yeah, just keep going with that. That takes some time and patience. You know, you really need to take a breath and just, you know, it's a big part of your painting and you want to do it right. You know, trees are very important, and too many students, they get tired, I think, and they start working it and then they drop it halfway through. But trees take a lot of time. They have a lot of branches, as Gail will tell you. All right, I'm going to work on that tree more, but I want to get this in. This is the right side of the painting. You have these huge trunks going across, And the same color, I mixed up some quinacridone sienna and some ultramarine blue, leaning towards the quinacridone sienna there. You can see it. Add a little raw sienna if you want, just use a smaller brush, but really work it so you can press down and get some different sizes and shapes, and lots of branches here. There's another main. So I'm getting the main trunks in. You want to get the main trunks in, then you can take a breather and take your time adding the smaller branches. And now I'm putting some leaves in there. There's some small leaves that have hung on to this tree all winter long. Okay, so now I'm just going back and adding more branches, smaller. You can see I added much darker colors on the tree itself in the shadow, and I'm trying to mix that into the tree. Little touch of the green, and then all those branches and leaves. There's some small leaves on the ends of those branches, and a little bit of rose in there. All right, I'm going to add they're not in the photo, but I'm going to add a few birds flying south before the winter comes. All right, just enough, a little secondary point of interest. Your main point of interest here is that beautiful. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you again very soon.